Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let's take a look at how to get around in the new Photos app in iOS 18. So after updating your iPhone to iOS 18, you probably noticed that there's a new way that the Photos app is organized. Instead of having different modes or screens or pages that you're on, it's now one long scrolling page that shows all of the major ways that you could view your photos. So for instance, when you start the Photos app, you'll probably see your photos here at the top. And then as you scroll down, you'll see various different ways to look at your photos, like people's and pets, pin collections, memories, trips, and so on. When you first see this, it could be a little confusing. But in fact, it's just one long scrolling screen. The top part of the screen is your library, showing each individual photo. Then below that are all of the different types of collections. When you start right here in the middle, and then you would scroll up or down depending upon what you want to see. Once you realize this is just one long page with everything on it, it's a little easier to figure out where to go. So let's start by scrolling up. Your photos library is above the middle line here. So as soon as you scroll up, you'll just get to more and more of your photos. They're all sorted with the earliest photo at the top and the latest one that you added at the bottom. When you start scrolling up, you're going to see these buttons at the bottom here. You only see them when you're actually looking at just your photos. When you're looking at the collections here, notice how that goes away. It only appears when you're just looking at the photo library. And then you can go from all photos to months and see everything grouped by month, or years and see everything grouped by year. And then to get into an individual year, you would just tap on that year, you would go into months there, and then you would go into your full list again, but at that particular month. So it makes it easy to actually get to a certain year. Instead of having to scroll all the way up, you can just tap years here and then scroll down, get to a year that you want, tap it, and then to get to the month that you want, tap that, and now you're at that location in the long list. By the way, if you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MACMOST at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. You can also tap here and then sort. So instead of by date captured, you can sort by recently added. You can also filter. So you can decide, for instance, that you just want to see videos or you just want to see photos that you've edited. And also you have view options here. So you can zoom in to make the individual photos a little bigger and easier to see. You can zoom out. You can change from squares to aspect ratio grid and back and forth like that. You can also choose whether or not to include screenshots or photos that have been shared with you. So you can get rid of screenshots there if you just don't want to see them when you look at your library. At the top, notice you still have the search button here. You can tap that and then type something to search. You also can tap select here. And this allows you to select individual photos like that. You can tap and drag to select a whole range. Then you can trash them. You can tap here and do a variety of different things with them, and tap here to share them in a variety of different ways. You can also tap on your user icon here and you can see information about your library, and you have some more options to choose from here. Now, anytime, no matter where you are in the list of all your photos, even if you're all the way at the top, you can tap the X button here at the bottom right, and it takes you back to that middle point right here. So you've got your library now above the line, and below it you have all the different collections. So the collections you see here are customizable. So you may see something different than what I'm seeing. So for instance, here I've got recent days, and it shows me days where I've taken photos. I can tap where it says recent days and see a longer list of them, or I can just scroll through the list horizontally and I can tap on a specific day to see the photos I took on that day. Tap the button at the top left to go back. I can also do the same thing with albums. So here are all my albums. I can scroll through them horizontally. I can tap where it says albums and see a list of my albums. And this is where I would also create a new album and do other functions. And I could change how I view the albums as well. For instance, I could view them in a grid here. And then I can continue down. Here's people and pets. the same kind of functionality here going into each individual one. And there are options. And then I can tap where it says people and pets to just get a list of all of them instead of scrolling horizontally. Now, pinned collections are other collections. So you've got things like your favorites, recently saved, looking at everything on a map, videos, screenshots. If you want to change what's in this list, you can tap modify here and you get a whole list of different pinned collections. So for instance, if you don't care about having a specific collection just for screenshots, you can remove it here. And if you want to add it back, it's right there. You can just tap it and it adds it back. If you want to see in pinned collections, say all of your selfies and maybe your hidden album, you can add those. And now if you look here, you'll see they are in this list. So pinned collections is completely modifiable. And next here I've got memories, which work the same way. You could view all your memories like that, or you can scroll horizontally through them, tap on one to go to it. You've got trips, which is kind of a new collection here. It just groups your photos automatically by trips, and you can view them all, and you can even look at them by years like that. Tap on an individual one to go to it like that. Then I've got featured photos, another automatic collection that's created that I go into. I've got media types. So at this point, it's just showing you a list, but they work the same way. If I want to view, for instance, all of my selfies, I tap here and it goes into that just like any other collection. So I've got these 4 media types here. I can tap here and see there are actually more media types than just the ones there that are listed. Then you have utilities, which are even more different collections here. Things like favorites, hidden, and so on. You can tap on utilities here and you could see all of them. You can see I don't have any shared albums. And the last one here is wallpaper suggestions, another automatic category. You can go in and see photos that the app thinks would make good wallpapers for your iPhone. Now, you may look at this and say, well, I don't want some of these and other ones I want, but I want them further up in the list or further down in the list. Fear not, because this is all customizable. At the very bottom, you have customize and reorder. So you tap that and you're going to see all of these different sections. Remember, recent days was the first one and then under that was albums. Let's say you like your albums, you want them to be first. So you're going to drag that there to the top. Maybe after that you want trips, so you'll drag that one next. Maybe recent days isn't something you use, so you could uncheck that so it won't actually appear. And then remember, some of these sections like pinned collections allowed you to add some of these things to it. So for instance, I can get rid of, say, featured photos from here. And then I can go back into pinned collections here and I could add featured photos to my pinned collections if I want. I can just get rid of all of these and really simplify the page. And notice here, it's all about the library now. Or what might make more sense is to go in here and add pinned collections only. And then in pinned collections, add the things I want just to make the page super simple. Now, I realized that over the years, people had grown used to how the Photos app had organized things. And this seems like a major change. But it really kind of simplifies everything by it just being in one long list that you can scroll up and down and customize to be in the order you want with the things that you want shown there. Features-wise, you haven't lost anything. You still have all your albums and your ability to customize your albums as you want. You still have people and places and all of the other types of sections. You even have some new things as well. For those of us that like their photos to be automatically organized, not have to do it manually, things like trips and featured photos are really nice. But if they're not for you, if you enjoy organizing your things into your own albums, you can certainly keep doing that. All that functionality is still there. You can make albums the top thing in the list and simply go into albums every time and ignore all the other features if you like. So for the most part, the iOS 18 Photos app is more customizable than it was before. You just have to maybe take a minute to set it up like you want. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.